Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of A Knight's Ransom. We'd like to thank our sponsor, D&D Beyond, that is D, the letter N, dbeyond.com. A wonderful repository for everything 5e. When we last left this rather intrepid group of adventurers, they had just dealt with a bunch of displacer beasts that were harrying a lumberyard. Once that was all settled, they set their sights back to head back to Arcala, where they would once again meet back up with Kitchen, who had stayed behind to assist Jamie cooking in the kitchen. The city gates open ahead of you. And there is great fanfare. You know it's not because of you, because word of what you've done couldn't have reached the city yet. But there is fanfare. And you realize that it's celebrating a group of priests or a group of acolytes who are becoming priests or priestesses. And you remember that this was where you were supposed to find Jarvan. Party, what's your plan? Oh, shit. Yes, sorry. Okay, party. Uh, the city is full of fanfare. You were headed to, well, Jarvan needs to be dealt with. And how do you plan on doing so?
Arrow to the knee, clearly.
His adventuring days are over, bud.
That would not be a good idea. Too many of his soldiers are around.
I know that one. I think that was, referring to marriage, which I don't think he's preparing for currently.
That was smooth, Otter.
And also accurate.
Are we going to stick together to see if we can find him?
Well, I think we should probably go find Kitchen.
If you guys
I
want
don't
to stay
know.
here looking, I can run and go get him.
Good.
Okay. So Fred's going to head off to the inn to find Kitchen.
I guess I will produce Taito and see if we can at least get eyes on where the hammer is currently, while we wait for Fred and Kitchen to rejoin us.
Okay.
Oh, quick question for the DM.
Yeah,
How long was the travel from the lumber mill to the town?
a day and a half.
Okay, I have to re-roll my portents then. We had a night. Just checking. I'm not using either of those dice tonight. Holy shit. I will send these to you.
Back at max health by this point, right?
Yes, you would have rested and healed up.
Ooh, good. Otherwise, I was starting at 6.
Both of those dice are going directly to jail.
Okay, Fred, you head for kitchen, so you're headed to Jamie's
The inn.
yes.
I come up to the bar and say, "Is Kitchen around?"
The maid looks at you for a moment before she turns and heads into the back. Kitchen, you are being summoned out front.
Oh, okay. I'll be right out. And Kitchen's just gonna finish what he was doing and then clean his station and head on out.
Okay.
Ah, Fred, how did the lumberyard go?
It went really well. Come on with me. Let's go for a walk. I want to join the rest of the party. We need your help. So I'll
Oh, of
explain as
course.
we're on the drive or on the
Oh,
walk over.
of course. Again, sorry. Just an empty kitchen. I can't live without it. Or I can't live with an empty kitchen,
Well,
knowing that I could help somewhere.
we always got to use where our spells or our skills are best used.
Right. I'm glad you understand. Now let's go see our compatriots.
Yeah, we were attacked by some I think they're called displacer beasts or something like that. We were
Oh,
successful, but it was a rough go.
any meat?
I don't think we thought to grab any. That was a couple days ago. I don't think it'd still be good by the time we got here. But they're over
Fair
at where the acolytes and are going to become priest or priestess, and we're supposed to be looking for Jarvan there, Lord Jarvan.
Okay. Well, let's go.
Let's go see if we can
Let's
get
go
them.
see what we can do. And I guess we'll just go and join the rest of the party.
Fantastic. It doesn't take long to find them.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you, Karasaf. I feel
Welcome
welcomed
back,
back.
Kitchen. How was
Oh, there you go.
how was working with Jamie for the last 2 days?
Ah, it's It's really enjoyable. I think once all said and done, I might go back. Jamie's quite a good innkeeper. I think I'd like to maybe work some sort of arrangement, maybe expand the diner kind of side of the business. And I hear the lumberyard went well.
It was certainly interesting. Got some notes on a foreign being. Nobody
Oh.
died.
Excellent.
And by the look of it, they should be back up and running in no time.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad nothing horrible happened while I was busy. I really should have left you go with some of my cupcakes or something, just for the road.
Well, now we know for next time, yeah?
Yeah, of course, of course. So what is the plan?
That's a very good question.
Excellent
I-
question. We've had 3 days worth of traveling and have not come up with it.
Okay.
I will
Well,
pull out my notebook and kind of flip back a couple pages. If our previous observations and information we gathered accurate, Jarvan should be attending this ceremony and should be easy to follow from there.
well, perfect. So find them, tail them, and that's the plan.
I just want to be sure I saw that correctly. You mimed killing him, right?
Isn't that what we were doing?
No.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I saw you making that motion correctly. That's all. Like,
Yeah.
perfect. Perfect. Okay.
Like that better?
That one was good.
I
like
don't want
that one.
confusion.
Oh God, no, no. We don't want to be ambiguous with this. We
No.
are not giving this man a gentle hug around the throat.
No, of course.
We
I
could.
mean, if I do it, it might
that's
count
more
as a
his
hug
speed.
at first.
We'll fillet this son of a bitch.
Well, to be fair, at least by history's standards, no matter how many plans you make, or how much in control you think you are, you end up winging it.
Ugh. Who wants to tell him that's a more complicated version of Murphy's Law?
Yo, let me tell you, I have about 7 pages of philosophy in front of me. Let's go.
Love it. Ugh.
Murphy's Law is in there, but not quite as useful for the current conversation.
No, not at all. But, you know, what can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys head back to what was formerly a temple of Hades, and, of course, find that it is in the midst of what seems to be full-fledged combat. There are crowds of people watching what's happening.
Now, when you say combat, is it like the usual, just like pit fighting, like their ceremonial sort of thing, or is it just like an all-out brawl?
It almost seems to be a mixture of both,
Okay.
but also seems to be contained, and none of the civilians that are watching are getting involved.
Okay. Do we see anybody around that's kind of like a ref?
No.
Okay. You
Do
know
we
what I mean,
see the
right?
one we
Like,
saw
okay,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the-
get
I know
outta
what you
here.
mean.
Do we see
Okay.
the one that we saw fighting before?
The one who's basically going for his test?
Yes.
Yes. He's not a small man. I mean, he is big.
Fred's going to point him out and head towards there because Jarvan was the one who was supposed to be testing him.
Yeah. Supposed to be. As you approach, you realize that much of this brawl seems to be centered specifically on this one person. As he fights off what is equitably a horde of his own fellow acolytes and priests. He continues, he fights valiantly, and it is a combination of weapon arts. It is hand to hand. He pulls a long sword away from an opponent, uses it for a few rounds of combat, as it were, and then discards it in exchange for the mace that he just caught as it came swinging for his head. People are just being flung left, right, and center by this man.
Watcher seems to be doing quite well.
He is making quite. Sorry. I am checking my notes. Yes. I couldn't remember what I named my NPC.
Stonewatcher.
Yes. Okay, look. I have a lot of NPCs that are named. I'm going to need you to give me a break.
I scrolled back up with my notes to find out.
I'm so proud of you. So
Only now is he
Stonewatcher
known as
is...
Stonewatcher. He used to be Pebble Viewer.
Give it a few
That would
years,
be
he'll
really
be the
good.
Boulder broadcaster.
Ooh.
Oh, yes!
I love you guys. This combat goes on. You don't see any signs of a particularly armored individual coming in to deal with Stonewatcher. And eventually, as the numbers that attempt to take him on dwindle, a silence seems to fall over the temple as the familiar sound of metal on stone, as if somebody in full plated armor regalia is walking on cobblestones. And you glance as the crowd parts, and striding forward, dressed in ostentatious golden red, is a man. The red cloak billows behind him. Apologies, I need to pull up his sheet. On his hip is a warhammer. Is that what I gave him? Yes. Is a warhammer.
I hope so.
Yes, I would also hope so, but it was more, did I call it a warhammer, but it's actually a mace? No, it is a warhammer with the bludgeoning end on one end and the spike on the other. And a shield in hand. The helmet is a twisted, snarling wolf. The craftsmanship is something that, for those of you who worship Hephaestus, it is spectacular. Awe-inspiring, almost, and potentially fear-inducing. And as he strides forward, behind him trail 6 others dressed similarly to him. Varying animals. He is the only one with the wolf. Except for a smaller figure. Which isn't to say that this particular figure isn't capable. Their size is just smaller than the 7 that came before them. The figure is more lithe, and there isn't quite as much gold, as if their armor hasn't been finished being made. And this group approaches Stonewatcher. And the smaller one dashes forward, takes the shield in one hand, sets it on their back before the first that had walked in, clearly the one of rank, reaches up and pulls his helmet off and hands it off. Long, silvery white hair tumbles out from underneath his helmet. His skin is pale, almost as if there isn't any blood flowing beneath it. But maybe he just doesn't see a lot of the sun dressed in all that armor. And then you watch as Stonewatcher scrapes a bow to him, nice and deep. Knight Lieutenant Jarvan, it is my honor to take you on in combat today. And Jarvan stands there, hand on his warhammer, smirk on his face. If you don't win, do not think it a failing of your teaching. I have just been around for a very long time. Now, of course, you know the rules. No holds bar until one of us is unconscious. Good luck. And with that, he grabs the warhammer from his belt and dashes forward. Almost out of thin air, a warhammer, almost exactly the same as the one that Jarvan is wielding, appears in Stonewatcher's hand, and they just go at it. They dodge each other's strikes. What strikes do land in rather inconsequential areas. And this fight goes back and forth. At no point does one side seem to win over the other. If Jarvan lands a particularly good blow, his knights and his squire cheer. If the priest manages to put a dent into that ostentatious golden armor that Jarvan is wearing, the priests and the acolytes cheer for Stonewatcher. So the question is, party, are you taking bets on who's going to win?
How much gold have I got here? 10 gold on 10 gold on the hammer.
Is anybody in the party going to take that bet?
Brett's not betting.
I'm having a conversation with Karasef, but we didn't want to interrupt, so we're just kind of deliberating back and forth currently, not paying attention.
No, please. I was just setting the scene. If you guys want to do that, please, by all means. This is either going to be A, really great roleplay, B, it's going to be character development, or C, it's going to be both.
Or D, it's just going to be awful.
Go for it then,
I know
Karasef.
what I
You're the
said.
one who started this.
I know
Alright,
what
just
I
been
said.
responding.
Off you go.
So at the beginning of this, when it's the one guy in the middle just facing off against all the acolytes, Karasef is just going to nudge whoever's closest to him, which it turns out is Orion, and just kind of casually mention, my acolytes never would have allowed me to do such things. Just kind of return back to the witnessing the combat.
You had acolytes.
Oh yes, enough, but they're all gone now.
What kind of acolytes did you have?
They were from a rather unique temple that sadly no longer stands. It was they who raised me and made me who and what I am today.
Sidebar, Orion is furiously taking notes during this entire exchange. This is the most words I've
Smoke
heard out
coming
of...
off the notepad.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm pretty sure most, probably all, of my old acquaintances are no longer with us either. Aside from the people I've met in the last year, I don't think the rest really are around anymore.
That can certainly be difficult. There's much to recall and much to pay back for.
Well, a long time ago, a great thinker once told me, "You're meant to lose the people you love. Otherwise you wouldn't know the worth of them being there."
Who said
And-
this? I like it.
A very, very old philosopher. I don't know if their books are around much these days.
Come on, Otter, you
And-
came this far with the world building. What's his name?
Oh, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Technically, it came from a interesting manuscript they put out called The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
God, God damn it.
I'm sorry, I was
But-
not expecting that. Oh, I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
No, I
Not
didn't
Benjamin
say anything.
Button. Benjamin something else. New last name. Benjamin Biscuit. I don't know.
Benjamin...
Balloon.
Sure, Benjamin Balloon.
I'll be right back. I snotted.
Hey man,
Oh, man.
philosophy can come from many places and
The Benjamin
many different
biscuit thing
types of
got me. That
literature.
was
I
fun.
had to pull up
Alright.
my appendix for all of my philosophy. I have the main quotes in one place and then where they came from in another. But yes, it's a quote that I didn't really understand until much later down the line, but I find it sticks with me.
Sounds like a wise man indeed.
Orion,
Yes,
please give me a perception check. Just you.
just me. Oh boy. I choose you. Dirty 20, 18 plus 2.
Okay. Just for a moment in the crowd, you think you might be seeing something, but there are no illusions happening here. This is all combat all the time. After saying what you did to Karasef, it almost seems like there's a figure from your past in the crowd. However, when you glance away and glance back, he's gone.
Curiouser and curiouser. I've decided the philosopher's name was Benjamin Buckle.
Okay. I can accept that.
Yep.
The man that you saw, by the way, has sandy blonde hair and a pale complexion, and you saw the tips of pointed ears from beneath his hood, but that was it. But it is a familiar face. It is one that you spent a lot of time roaming the countryside with.
I will keep an eye out to see if they pop back up in the crowd.
Okay.
As I wait for my brain to load, as it was a time ago, onto who they remind me of.
Do we start hearing whirring disc sounds coming from you?
Do I need to remind you who it is, or
Otter
no? Okay.
knows. Orion
knows,
is
okay.
taking some time to process, like,
Perfect.
they saw a glimpse of a face and they're trying to connect where that familiarity came from.
Yep, not a problem. It was one of those, like, I just wanted to make sure, because I know that we talked about it a little while ago, so I just wanted to be sure that we were
Nope,
both on the same.
I have that in my notes ready to go when that shit pops up.
Fantastic. Can't wait. Alright, so, kitchen. It seems like you're the only one putting 10 on the hammer.
You're
Matter
lost,
of fact,
everyone.
you find a couple acolytes who are willing to take on your action. They have firm and steady belief in Stonewatcher being able to best Jarvan.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, they get, they come back with friendly banter, like, oh, you don't know Stonewatcher the way we do,
Yeah, but he doesn't
this
have the
is
cool armor.
nothing. Yeah, well, looks
The
can
hammer
be
has a wolf
deceiving.
head. Well, had a wolf head, so that's intimidating. I'm sure Rockwatcher or whatever, he's shaking.
I apologize, Otter and Karasef, were you guys...
No, that was good for me.
We
Okay.
can just say this conversation happens while everything else is going on.
Yeah, sure. I
Yeah.
just wanted to be sure that I wasn't interrupting your guys'
No,
Yeah, no,
no,
once,
we didn't
once
want to
the
interrupt
guys with
while
the
you were
armor
setting
showed
the
up,
scene.
Karasef would have refocused on all that anyway. That works.
Yep.
Oh, let's see. Sasha.
Yeah.
You watch as both Jarvan and Stonewatcher disarm each other. What weapons do you have on hand right now?
Me?
Yes, you.
Long sword. And a hand axe. And a shield.
Okay. Stonewatchers. Have you met Stonewatcher, or was that just Monric and Fred?
That was Monarch and Fred.
Okay. Jarvan approaches you, and Stonewatcher quickly approaches Fred. Fred, what weaponry do you have on you?
Oh. I have a light crossbow and daggers, besides my magic.
He quickly requests the use of your daggers.
Fred hands them to him.
And Sasha, Jarvan politely requests the use of your longsword and hand axe.
If I could interject.
He slides a glance over to you. His eyes are a peculiar shade of gold.
I have gold running on you. Why not? Kitchen. He grabs his hammer pick thing that I got a little while ago. Pretty
You
familiar.
also have a warhammer. That's right, I forgot.
That's right. Familiar?
He holds his hand out if you would be so inclined.
All yours.
Before Jarvan goes off, can I smell anything off about him?
Give me a perception check at advantage because you're using scent.
All right, +5. Well, that's not gonna do it. That's a lot better. 23.
He smells like death.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, my nose like instantly curled up in
No, hang on, because he smells like death. And then there's this underlying smell of juniper.
disgusting. Yeah, no, that's fine. It's okay. My nose still turns up in my helmet, and I'm like, it's almost probably just a slight shift once his gaze is more on kitchen instead of me. There's like a slight shift where I just turn my body and my weaponry away from him.
Sure. I'm going to ask you a very all-important question. Are you ready?
Yeah,
How much control do you have?
enough.
Yeah.
I've dealt with this since a child.
Okay. You're still going to give me a constitution saving throw, please.
That's fine. I can do that.
Can I ask a quick clarification question?
Sure.
Was the smell of juniper the person or the plant?
I guess you're going to have to find out.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you that because, one, nobody but Sasha smells this.
19.
You're good. You kind of your mouth gets really snarly underneath the helmet momentarily, but it's a good thing you have the helmet on.
Yep.
Jarvan promises that your warhammer will be returned to you, Kitchen,
Thank you.
and they launch back into the ring against each other. The differing in weaponry doesn't seem to slow them down. Stonewatcher is rather quick on his feet for a man that size. And I'm going to need Karaseth and Monric to give me perception checks, please.
Hey, 17. I think that's the best perception check I've had all game. Quickly outdone by Monrix 22.
That's okay. The two of you stare at the squire for a moment. And then you watch as she draws her longsword and throws it. And you watch as Jarvan's hand just reaches up and grabs it out of the air.
Throws her, sorry, what?
Longsword.
Thank you.
Her weapon is thrown into the ring for Jarvan to use. Jarvan brings a greave-covered foot up and just kicks Stonewatcher in the chest. Not knowing what Jarvan is, and given the size of Stonewatcher, you really don't think it's gonna move him, except it sends him flying back a good 30 feet. And almost in the blink of an eye, Jarvan has dropped both weapons and is on top of Stonewatcher, basically bringing him to the ground. Any movement is covered from your vision by Jarvan's back. But you continue to watch the struggle before Stonewatcher ceases moving. And Jarvan stands back up to his feet and turns back to the crowd. And dripping from his mouth is the blue-colored blood of the Goliath. Not because he has torn the man's throat out, but because he has drank his fill, and Stonewatcher is unconscious.
Another vampire, it seems.
It brings an almost blue pallor to Jarvan's skin. And the acolytes each give you 10 gold, Kitchen, and there was 4 of them took your action.
Ooh. Thank you, gentlemen.
It was a well-fought competition. I think with a little bit more training, Stonewatcher could probably take him on a rematch. And as a priest, plenty of chance to become better than he was today. We all aspire to be as good as he is.
Well, it's all about improving.
And they kind of just clap their hands to your shoulder before they head off to help Stonewatcher onto a stretcher, because it is going to take a lot of people to carry that man.
And if it's possible, I'd like to just go pick up my Warhammer mace thing.
Another pair of acolytes actually return your weaponry to you.
Oh, thank you. Today's turning out not bad.
The acolytes
Jarvan,
approach to return the dagger. Fred says, "Is Stonewatcher going to be okay?"
oh yes. Jarvan has a habit of doing this. It's nothing to be concerned about.
Okay.
Stonewatcher will wake up tomorrow and he'll be maybe
Sure.
feeling a little bit hungover. Have you ever been bitten by one of his kind before?
No, I have not.
Well, would you like to learn something a little bit new?
Would love to.
Yes.
Well, creatures of his kind have we call it a venom, but we don't think it's actually a venom. That sort of gives the receiver of the bite a euphoric sensation. It is definitely a neurotoxin, but it's not a venom because it doesn't actually kill anybody.
Anything like the drink that Kitchen shared with us?
Sort of, except you then also experience lightheadedness because blood loss.
Everything's
But this
funnier then, too.
basically deadens any pain that you would feel.
I do have a question about the biting, though.
Your daggers are returned to you, Fred.
Mhm.
And the acolyte stands there and tilts their head. Yes?
Do the teeth act as straws, or are they meant to puncture so they can drink otherwise?
They are designed to puncture and then drink. And then, as far as we've been able to determine, and I will admit, not a very big researcher here in the Temple of Ares, unless it's to do with combat, something about their saliva then closes the wounds so you don't just bleed out.
The more you know.
Is their saliva ever harvested for its healing property?
I was just thinking that.
I can't say that it has, mostly because I believe that it is an effect from drinking. But I'm not one, so I think the one that you may need to ask those questions might be the gentleman that is walking out of the temple right now. And the group of knights that is walking out of the temple are loud and rambunctious with Jarvan's victory.
After them, I suppose?
Monarch, you're muted. If you're saying something, you are muted, sir.
I saw you talking, but I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Still muted.
Oh, are you on push to talk?
you might be having some issues.
Yeah, it looks
We
like he's
might
frozen.
be having audio issues.
Now, if I cast blur, would I be able to? I'll just put it in the thing. Would I be able then to follow Jarvan?
I mean, yes, but that's not going to stop him from seeing you.
I can
But just
certainly send
Give him a hard
Taito.
time to see who you are, I think.
Well, it's more that so I don't know how I would describe Blur as a
It's okay. It's all right.
Kind of
Continue.
like the ability the Displacer Beast has.
yes.
Not
Except
too
it's not an
dissimilar, yeah.
illusion. It just you don't seem to stay in one spot despite the fact
Mhm.
that you're stationary.
No problem.
Kind of Mirage-esque.
Looking like a Bigfoot photo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
New cryptid.
It's Fred. Well, Kitchen's just gonna follow along. As far as they're aware, I'm a fan.
Maybe you can get him to
Can you
sign
hear
your
me now?
hammer. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was just saying we better follow them discreetly.
Okay.
If anything, they're being loud. They probably are heading to a bar after his victory.
Probably.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you?
I don't fight like this.
I can't imagine he's terribly thirsty.
Depends on what he's looking for to drink.
You're in the fight. Fred would be watching Juniper. Is there anything that she might see that could give us a clue?
No, because Juniper never took her helmet off.
Thank you.
Did
Matter
I
of
ever?
fact, you're not even sure. You're not even sure that is Juniper.
I'm assuming because we've been told that's his squire.
Yes, but we all know what what
Assuming,
assume
yeah.
means.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever catch a glimpse of this familiar face in the crowd?
Twice. But again, it was
Twice.
as fleeting as the first time.
And I no longer see them after the combat is done.
No.
Okay.
All right, you guys are trailing after Jarvan, and there is a group that you kind of just meld into, that are also following these particular knights as they head to what seems to be almost a more seedier and shadier side of town. For the most part, you guys have stayed in places in town that have been relatively good and pleasing to the eye. This is not. This is like the back alley street that you expect to get shanked in. And then while you're getting shanked, somebody is kicking the shit out of you at the same time. Like, this is not a good place to be, and the knights walk in like they own the place.
As we're walking, I'm just going to cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
Just get that out of the way ahead of time.
Fred's
Kitchen.
sticking pretty close to Kitchen.
Kitchen, please give me a perception check.
Perception. Oh no. 7.
Okay. The group of them walk into a tavern, a bar, an inn. It's something. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what it is from the outside facade. The symbol over the door seems to be just a sword held in the hand of a knight with the words, "The Waiting Sword Bar." Waiting, as in I am waiting for something. Sword Bar. And as you enter, you hear Jarvan loudly call out, "The next round's on me." Showed the Goliath what it means to fight a knight lieutenant and walked away victorious. Although I am not too much of a man not to admit when another man does a good job, or another woman for that matter, or any other that they may identify as. If they put in a good showing, I am more than happy to applaud them. Either way, around. And he pulls out a rather hefty bag of gold and slaps it on the bar. And just keep the drinks coming until that bag is empty. You watch as he divests himself of armor. The armor goes onto one of the armor racks along the wall, and the rest of the knights do the same, as well as the squire. Which, yes, it is actually Juniper, now that you see her without her armor on. The other 6 knights are varying races. There doesn't seem to be any specific race requirement to be part of Jarvan's group or his inner echelon of people. Not like Karthus was, where Karthus was almost predominantly surrounded by ranger elves. Jarvan has a Goliath, a Vidalkin. Yeah, Otter, they are bald and blue.
Oh, Otter knows what they are. That was just a
I
name
saw a bunch of
wasn't
those guys in
expecting to hear.
Hollywood. Hollywood? Sorry, Vegas.
This is not
I
the
hear
Blue Man crew, Cody.
they play
Close enough.
interesting instruments. Quite an interesting group of bards.
Oh man, now I have to do it. Ugh, okay, fine. I'll make a note.
More culture.
More culture. Sorry, I'm just making the note so I don't forget. Okay. So there's a Goliath, a Vidalkin, a Dryad, which is what Juniper is. Whatever the hell Jarvan is. There is an elf and another that looks sort of like an elf, except their skin is green. And curling from their temple seems to be branch-like horns. That's 4. There is a human. And the one that maybe throws you guys for not a loop the most, but this particular knight opens their armor and quite literally steps out of it. Not dismantles it. I mean, it literally opens the chest plate and steps out of the armor. As a halfling exits their armor. No, No, do not make Gundam references. I'm watching all of you.
No, Zara was asking me if this was my old artificer. I was like, no, they're too short. There's not enough light in the room for Koss and who's probably traveling with him to be there.
Yeah, this is not the kind of place that you would find Koss and Adira.
Eh?
Your son, maybe.
Yes, but not Koss and Adira. And they all kind of help the halfling. Well, I say all, but one of them helps the halfling up onto the chair. And even sets down what looks to be a rather comfortable boosters so that they are not just staring at the lip of the table when they're sitting. Not that everything is, like, proportioned for big people, but this is a particularly small halfling. However, they would not be a knight if they were not capable. So. And they probably wouldn't be sitting with Jarvan if they weren't. Party, what are you doing? You know what Jarvan's doing. What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to have a drink on him.
Fred wants to move around so that she's behind them, but off in the corner where she can still see and hear them, but just quietly off to the side.
Okay.
I'm going to leave Taito outside to keep an eye if they see them leaving. And I will just kind of take up a spot in a chair and listen.
Now, do you take up a spot in a chair next to Fred, or do you take up a spot in a chair away from Fred?
Away from Fred.
Okay.
Might as well cover the room.
Kitchen. Actually, wait. I'm gonna hold off on you because you bet on Jarvan. Karasef.
I'm gonna find a seat somewhere to just kind of chill and watch everything.
Do you take a drink?
No.
Okay. Monric, I know you are getting a drink. Are you doing anything else?
Yeah, I'm going to approach Jarvik.
Okay, we're gonna hold off on that. Sasha.
Take up a seat by the door.
Okay. Kitchen. Mostly because I was figuring you were gonna go talk to Jarvan as well, so it's one
Yeah.
of those like, yeah, okay. So you and Monric are gonna approach Jarvan and his party.
Monarch, how would you like to do this?
Well, I just wanted to gather the measure of the man, as it were.
Okay.
You know, we both put money down on him, and he was worth the money.
Sounds like a plan. I'm gonna get my hammer signed.
Etch it in.
Okay.
We'll need a pen, I think.
What's a pen?
Like an ink pen, like with the quill.
Yes, they have quills and
Wow.
inkwells.
Yeah.
Pens haven't been invented
A
yet.
Sharpie then?
Oh my god.
Pulls out a
Behave.
sword.
You know what? You know what? Kitchen, I need you to roll me a D100 right now.
It's not a Sharpie, it's a paint pen.
53.
Monric, I need you to also roll a D100, please.
Damn it.
66.
Okay. Kitchen. You dig around in your bag, just on the off chance that you might find that quill that you stashed in there months you really haven't been updating your personal cookbook.
No, yeah.
You know, you're pretty happy with everything in your cookbook, but you know that you have a quill in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like a writer's block, but for food. Nothing new is coming.
Your hand closes around a circular object that you're not sure was in there before.
Okay.
And as you pull it out, it seems to be a beautifully carved wooden paintbrush. However, the brush isn't really bristles. It's shaped like a paintbrush, but it's not bristles. Kind of poking at it a little bit, it seems to have a blue pigment of some kind.
Okay.
You have found yourself a fantasy Sharpie.
I don't even remember putting this in my bag, but it's interesting. This'll do.
You're also pretty sure that if you get that pigment on your clay, it's not coming out. No matter how much you scrub at it, that pigment's probably not going to come out of your clay.
You want to do like cool, like war paint? You'll stay ready. You won't even have to get ready at this point.
Mustache.
I'll do Spider-Man
Already
on your
has one.
face.
Yeah.
Fill it
Yeah.
in more.
You know, do the makeup but in blue like Rob Patterson's Batman.
Yeah.
Angry eyebrows.
If there's enough ink in there, you might be able to join that group of bards.
Well, you know, Hammer doesn't. Hammer.
Oh.
Kitchen doesn't even have eyebrows. So,
Upgrade.
hey.
But just a random blue pair of eyebrows.
I'm now picturing if they're able to come off, that's how Kitchen changes their facial expression, is just draws on eyebrows for the
Interchangeable
situation.
eyebrows. Kitchen, that's the next best
Just-
thing.
Like,
Like
That's
Mr.
the next
Potato
magic,
Head.
magic item I'd like, please, if possible.
Just roots
Interchangeable
around in
eyebrows.
pocket, slap. Angry eyebrows.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you just like take out a cloth and just slap it on your face. And
God.
on you go.
I'm
Okay.
so here for this.
Cody.
An oven mitt with like choice eyebrows, and then you just pat your
Hold on.
face with it really hard.
I gotta
I've
put
got
that
you. I'm
in
keeping
there.
the theme.
Oh my
There we
god.
go. Yeah.
Oh, it's too
I
perfect
love you
for
guys
this.
so much. I am going to let you plan out what you want to say to Jarvan while I quickly run to the bathroom.
Sure. Should we take a quick break
Okay.
then?
No, because I want chat to hear whatever the hell it is they come up with.
Oh boy. Well, I'm in the corner
Well,
taking
I
notes.
was just going to congratulate him for an excellent fight.
There
I'm
is an
also gonna
opportunity
run
to lead him away from everyone, though.
You gonna offer him a prize in the
Not
back room?
here, though. That's the problem.
Well, I'm not sure now. What if we just got him blackout drunk?
That's kind of my idea.
I feel like that would almost be impressive.
But I have a feeling that he can drink a lot more than we can.
Drink us onto the table.
What if we got something very, very, very potent?
Do you have something very, very
I would
potent?
say, where are we getting this?
I mean, Jamie had that very, very nice drink, and I've been working for him for a while now, so
Well, we don't have time to run and get it.
but we could offer it.
Uh,
Take this parties elsewhere, you know?
I am now a dark shadow, but I have to
I,
step away
I
for
have a
just
feeling
sec.
that this is their special place for celebrating these sorts of things. I don't think they'll be inclined to go elsewhere. We can try.
Yeah, well, it's an idea. We'll put it in the maybe pile.
Hey, note takers. Does
I'm
anybody remember
looking
what
so hard.
Kitchen got from the spider person? The big potion? Kitchen literally cooked something for this Spider-Man
Yeah, let me scroll
to
back.
get.
You said Spider-Man in that text, and I was like, I haven't seen the movie yet.
Man spider.
Man Spider. there
Yeah,
you go.
I'm trying to find out. I'm sure I wrote it somewhere. Oh, my other book. Oh, it's right there.
I'm sitting here going through all of my philosophy and changing the source of it, so I'm not just directly quoting things.
So I'm like, there's something that you got. May have to ask Maddie now that she's back.
Welcome back. Oh, now welcome back.
Thank you.
Maddie,
Yes.
do you remember what I received from the man spider?
Wasn't it that really spicy spice?
Like it was some spices, but there was one that he like cooked a delicious meal for him to get. Because it did stuff.
Because it did stuff. Did you write it down?
I'm sure I did, but my notes suck. Apparently, where is everything?
Who am I? Where have I gone?
Because that was
Do
a
that.
while ago.
Yeah, what game is this? Monster of the Week?
That would have been on session 20 or 21.
You know, we
Mama
do
Bear
so many
usually
nice
has
things.
the better notes. I know where
Yes.
we met Man Spider, but I don't have in Orion's notes what you were received because I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
Just remembering it having effects.
Oh, I think it was just Alchemist Fire, wasn't it?
You did buy Alchemist Fire.
Yeah.
That's
Thought
what
there
you went
was-
in there to buy.
Yeah. But you ended up with a spice or something more that.
Yeah. I think it was just seasonings. I was just like
it was
stocking
just
up.
random seasonings. It was just random
Yeah.
seasonings.
Yeah,
Because
I think
you
you get.
cooked him the perfect meal to make up for the 5 gold you were short.
Yeah.
Yep, for the extra
Alchemist
5 gold.
Fire.
Yeah.
Also, Sarah, what is going on?
I have no idea.
You are just an amorphous black blob.
He
Try-
cast Blur.
Try enabling and disabling your green screen. Like the green screen filter.
On.
Sometimes it freaks out.
Oh, so impressed with Kitchen's food gives him 3 gold worth of spices.
Maybe I was imagining it then.
Well, I think you may have just confused. Well, like meshed the two together: the Alchemist Fire and the spices.
Maybe.
I think there was like a really spicy
There
spice
was,
though.
but it was super expensive because it was super rare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still want it.
Aha! Welcome back.
There he is.
I am no longer an amorphous blob.
Okay, so sorry. Before I got totally distracted, do you, Cody, for Kitchen, want a magical item that allows you to slap emotion eyebrows onto your forehead?
You have to ask. Duh. Come on, man.
I do have to ask.
No,
Almost
no.
just-
You could just slip that in my inventory. You could go in my character sheet, put it in there. Don't tell me a word. And then one day when I find it, I just go,
It's just a
"Oh,
little
okay."
pouch of like sticky eyebrows so you can mix and match.
Yeah. There's some
Just
stuff from the dollar
reach
store.
in there and go bang. What are we feeling today?
Fantastic.
Oh boy.
I'm not gonna lie. Yes, here it is. Ha! You're saying that.
That's
this
what
is
I was
all
looking
can think
for.
of.
That's what I was looking for. This like
It's the hand puppet teddy bear that just slaps his face onto.
That's
the
what I was
table.
exactly picturing, except
Mhm.
instead of the table, it's like an oven mitt.
Yeah.
For Kitchen.
Okay.
Frying pan,
I
bonk.
will-
No.
Eyebrows.
I will remember this.
It's a very, very inexpensive disguise kit.
I'll even take the time to sew it for him, like to make the oven mitt. Do I know
Amanda.
how to sew? I'm not too sure, but I'll figure it out. I have big hands, so it might not fit, but
That's
hey, you'll at
okay.
least have it.
Orion
be
does
made
not
of-
want eyebrows.
He says this now.
What's that? Sorry.
Mm-mm.
Orion says this now.
I already have eyebrows on my mask. They never move along with the rest of my face.
True.
It would look weird if I
Alright.
put eyebrows on top of eyebrows.
The two fanboys approach Jarvan's party.
Well, hello, sir. Sir Hammer.
It's Sir Jarvan.
I'm
Or Sir
terribly
Jarvan the
sorry.
Hammer.
We're new to town, and we were just kind of taking
You
in
were
the sights.
fortunate enough to catch your bout, and that was an amazing display of martial prowess.
Was it ever? And thank you for taking my weapon. I knew it'd be handy. Speaking of, I thought if you're keen to the idea, would you sign it?
I can't say that I've ever signed something beyond official documentation.
Well, I just, it just feels like you're going to be going places. So, hey, I've got a hammer signed by the Jarvan. Damn it.
Jarvan.
My charisma's got a minus here, okay?
Don't piss him off with your call him the wrong name.
Oh, sorry. No, my charisma's just 10. It's good. I'm just shitty.
Okay. Some of the others at the table shift over to give you guys space to sit down.
Thank you.
And he kind of
Oh,
gestures
thank
with
you.
both hands for you to produce the thing you want him to sign. He's figuring it's going to be a piece of parchment.
I'm going to slam the hammer on the table.
Just
And
flop
that's
it right
not
on there.
innuendo for anything.
No?
No.
You don't want to have a hammer measuring contest with Jarvan?
Oh, I mean, if we have to.
I mean, let's be honest. Kitchen's made of clay. He's got the options to add or to subtract if he so desired.
Damn right.
Pulls a
Like, I'm
handful of
sorry.
clay out of the bag
That's-
and just boom.
That's
I'm
not
gonna have to go and
much
get
for
some
Jarvan.
coffee
You
fast. I'll be
took
right
us
back.
here.
I did.
It's,
I
yeah.
did. This is entirely my fault.
I slap Kitchen on the back. I got you. I know what's up.
You know, with
right, brother.
Kitchen's occupation, would we just be able to consider them as sirloin?
Come on, give him inspiration for that. I like that a lot.
Makes for a great stage name too on the side. Eh?
kind of stage are you talking about?
Yes.
The kind that we can't show on screen. Otter, go ahead and take a point of inspiration for sirloin. That was...
I will
that was
happily
good.
take a point of inspiration.
Sasha can also
Yes.
take a point of inspiration
I'll take it. Thank you.
for giving us the idea of using clay to reshape certain pieces of one's anatomy.
Listen. Like, Kitchen can literally be his perfect version of himself.
Who says he isn't?
Exactly. Listen.
Anyway, moving on. You slam the hammer onto the table,
Yep.
and immediately weapons are drawn.
He's going to sign it. If I meant to
How's
hit
he
him,
gonna
I would have aimed for him and not the table, everyone.
Jarvan just kind of like gets his knights to just relax. And you watch as his squire leans against the back of his chair. She hasn't seated herself yet, and is just leaning on the back of his chair. And he reaches for a dagger. typically, if I'm going to sign something in wood, I would have to carve my name into it, wouldn't I?
Oh no, I've got something extra, and I'm going to take out my fantasy Sharpie. That's right. I'm not going to not call it a fantasy Sharpie. It's a fantasy Sharpie.
Literally,
It
my
says so in
brain.
cursive on the side.
It does, and it's really it's that very particular font that you always know it's a Sharpie.
Yep. And I'll hand it to him.
He looks at it. What is this?
What? Try it.
It's a magic marker.
Oh my god.
Listen.
Why didn't we
Renee.
think of
No.
that? God damn.
That works
So
perfectly.
glad I wasn't drinking.
Well
That was
played,
good.
Mavic.
Mavic, go ahead and take a point of inspiration for that, please. I am
Mhm.
so glad that this has spawned that. My
But
God.
it is a magic marker.
It is. It is. And he looks a little bit confused before he just gives a shrug and then sets the tip of the fantasy Sharpie to the side of your hammer and signs it in really scratchy writing, Sir Jarvan the Hammer.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And I'll
Now
take
you
my
have
hammer
a
and my
hammer's hammer.
magic marker back. So Jarvan, how about I pay for a drink for you? You did win me some money today.
Oh, you took a bet on me.
Well, it didn't seem like much of
Of course.
a contest, did it?
He put up a good fight. Another
Oh.
couple years and he might be where I am today.
Oh. Damn. The drink.
Sure. And as he says so, he kind of pushes his chair back, and Juniper finds her seat directly in his lap. Looking very at home, exactly where she is.
And a drink for your girlfriend?
Squire.
Squire, I'm sorry. Not insinuating anything, just
It's okay, darling. We get that a lot. But no, he's been training me in the fine art of combat, and I have been teaching him a thing or two about medicine.
Oh? Are you sick? You seem to be very well.
Oh, I am. Very well. But medicine and first aid aren't necessarily something that a lot of these knights are well versed in. Call it
Well,
an exchange of learning.
I know a thing or two.
Really?
Well, yes, my friends and I, we're adventurers of a sort, and I tend to handle quite a bit of the first aid. Not
We'll
in a
have-
conventional way.
We'll have to compare notes then.
Oh, for sure. Maybe today I've got nowhere to be. I'm between jobs.
Perhaps tomorrow.
Oh.
The rest of my day will be taken up by celebrating his victory.
Fair enough.
The name's Juniper.
Kitchen.
And she holds her hand out to shake.
And he'll return the favor. And pleasure to meet you both.
And she glances at Mon. And you are?
Monric Black Knight. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
She extends her hand to you as well.
I'll
And
shake
I
her
need a
hand.
perception check from everybody who's not at the table. Which would be Sasha, Orion, Karasef, and Fred.
12. 17.
21.
12.
You watch. you're pretty involved in your conversation, and you kind of see movement. You think maybe he's going up to the bar for another round of drinks. The elf slips through the crowd and leaves the moment these two introduce themselves.
One of the knights?
Otter, another
Mhm.
perception check from you, please, sir.
Ooh. 17. 15 plus 2.
Seated in the back corner is that familiar face you have been seeing all day.
Are they seated, you said, by themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Well, lovely. I'm going to walk on over.
Everybody at Jarvan's table is loud. They are sharing stories of combat. They invite you to share some of your own. Doesn't matter. They are well interested in what you have to say.
I'll tell them about the interesting kitties we just recently encountered.
Fantastic. Otter, how are
Hi,
you approaching this man?
Excuse me, do you mind if I take a seat with you?
He glances up at you, and I need you to give me an insight check, please.
Insight. Ooh, I'm bad at those. Nah, okay. 16 plus 2 for 18.
I'm bad at those, he says, as he rolls an 18.
I only have a plus 2. I don't... The dice want me to know who this dude is.
He reminds you of an old friend. And he looks up at you, and for a moment, the only thing that you see that gives any sort of indication that he had a reaction to your presence is the slight widening of his eyes.
I am sorry to bother you. You look very much like a old friend of mine, and I wasn't sure if there might be a family connection of some sort. Is it okay if I take a seat?
Sure. Go ahead.
And I'll sit down and, like, give them a hard look over now that I'm, like, seated next to them. I'm Orion. Sorry, that was rude of me. What is your name?
My name is Kasanov Brestra.
Well, it's good to meet you.
Otter, the one thing that seems to be throwing you off, his eyes aren't blue.
Mm-hmm.
They're red.
They are.
The man you knew had blue eyes.
Mm-hmm. You look eerily familiar to a very old acquaintance of mine. Does your family have any ties to the Bakeen lineage?
The Bakeens died with me.
I'm sorry to hear that. I was very good friends with an archer back in the day. Traveled quite a bit with them. Before this was here, if that makes sense. Just kind of like looks around at the building they're in.
It does. You see, I remember this city when it was little more than a village. How did you survive?
I could ask you the same thing. Do you remember me? I look quite a bit different than I used to.
Perhaps, but the way you speak hasn't changed.
Well,
When I say the lion died with me, I wasn't kidding. And I haven't heard that name in a long
well, I've only been back up and walking, I guess, the area for about the last year. I was caught in a landslide outside of. Hold on. Quo, in the mountain range outside Quo. And was stuck
You
there for.
survived that.
I mean, one gets lost in their mind after a while, but my being is still here.
I searched for weeks for you. It eventually became too treacherous. There was the potential for another landslide, and I couldn't risk it. There was a founding village at the base. If there was another, it was going to take the village right out. I'm sorry I left you there.
What happened to you? How have you survived all these years?
You watch
Quietly. Last very quietly. Last I knew, I didn't think elves were around this long.
some are, and if they are, they're a hell of a lot older looking than I am. No, this is how. And you watch as he kind of just bares his teeth at you, and there is a set of fangs where his incisors are. I shed the name Corneath 700 years ago. Yes. And became Casanov. I'm almost done with Casanov. I think it's time to reinvent myself once more.
Well, it is very good to see a humanoid familiar face. I figured most of those I knew were long past by now.
I'm headed home, back to Silver Summit. However, I feel like I'm going to be traveling much faster than you and your group. When you get there, find a small symbol that looks like a falcon raising off of a shield. You
Hold
will
on.
find refuge.
Falcon raising off a shield.
Marks like that'll be scattered throughout the city. If you find one, you'll be able to find us.
Who is us?
Can't tell you more right now.
But you can tell
Come
me
find
more
us.
later.
I can. Yes. Good luck.
I won't ask too many prying questions now, but I feel like there's a lot of catching up to do at a different place.
We'll do it. I promise. But for now, once the sun sets, I'm gone. And I move much faster alone.
Can you tell me any information on Jarvan? He seems a very interesting fellow to keep company with.
Yeah. The king appointed him here after there were one too many reports of things falling on the wayside. It's a fairly large city. You can't run it with just one garrison of soldiers. And to be honest, the ambassadors don't make things easy either. For the record, when he is talking about the ambassadors, he is talking about the crime syndicate, the ambassadors of night.
Sure.
Not like political ambassadors. I mean, like, this is literally the crime syndicate. This is not.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make things easy for him. And then they've got Jarvan, and now, well, they work with Jarvan. Which keeps them happy. The king no longer has to deal with reports. Karthus is shamed for his part. The king is happy. And for now, that's all that matters.
Off topic question. Without getting too far into reminiscing, do you by chance know the fate of Radrai?
No. Last I heard, he was dead.
Interesting. Not surprising, just do you know how it happened?
I think he got caught by a roving band of nomadic tribes while he was searching for a god relic. Never saw him after that. Which isn't to say that he didn't, do what I did. I'm a vampire or something else that lives equally as long.
Do you by chance know anything about the current gods over the years, or have you not really paid too close attention?
Can't say I've given them too much mind.
Okay.
The gods have never done anything good for me. I've had to make my way the entire time. Well, no, that's not true. The gods did one good thing for me, and they gave me you. But, no, in general.
Okay.
But, the current gods are the children of the Titan.
I've been doing my best to read up on them as we go. It seems I've missed a lot of information in my absence.
Yes.
These gods have very interesting lineage / creation stories that have been written down.
Yeah. I think your number one rule was if a species came into existence, it's because Zeus fucked it into existence. And if it wasn't Zeus, it was Poseidon.
There are a lot more races these days. Lots of notes. Lots
You
and
always
lots of
were
notes.
one for your notes.
Do you know what these are? And I'll pull out my book and flip over to the sketches of the cats from the previous day. Last I remember, these were theoretical.
No, Hades figured those out right before they took down the Titan. It's partly how they managed it. They're called displacer beasts. Matter of fact, they're imbued with a little bit of Hades' own illusionary powers, which is why they can create copies of themselves. These copies don't actually do anything, but, well, I mean, besides make it difficult to figure out which one you need to attack.
Yeah, they
Not so difficult for one such as myself, though.
they were quite interesting to fight. But cool. Not the gem of information I thought it was going to be, but now I know what they are. And scribbles in the name Displacer Beast in there.
Oh, just on the off chance you run into one. Because if they're coming up out of the underworld, you might run into one of the bigger guardians. Do you remember there was a dog type?
I've seen mention of, what was it? A three-headed dog in some manuscripts?
Hades
Started
called
with a
Cerberus.
C. That's the one.
Yes. He did actually manage to create one. And it has since populated, so be cautious. Those things are not to be trifled with.
We dealt with, Orion has keen mind, but Otter does not. How many Displacer Beasts did we deal with?
4.
We dealt with 4 of these Displacer Beasts at the logging facility just north of town.
It's possible Thanatos may have been in the area then. They typically go where he is.
Okay, that's the one with death. Yes.
Yes, the literal god of death. Not god of the dead, god of death.
Yes.
If
There
you
are
are to
so
die,
many
he
more
is the one
than
that
there used to
varies.
be. It's hard to keep all of them keep track of all of them.
To be honest, I've only managed to do it because I've been alive for almost a millennia.
But good for these races. They've seemed to really expand.
They flourished. Although, I will admit I'm a little bit surprised by that. Some of them I assumed were gonna die off. Like
Yeah.
that one in particular. And he kind of gestures at the one with the wooden horns growing from their head.
I don't think I've seen that one.
They're interesting. Typically, they're stolen children replaced with the daughter of a coven.
Weird.
Very. If I'm not
But
mistaken, they were calling them hexbloods. And the color of their skin usually denotes which sort of hag they'll turn into. But I don't know too much more than that. That never really entered my realm of purview, I guess.
Well, for sake of the company around us, I won't take too much of your time. Don't know who's listening, and quite honestly, the last one in my party I started to talk about past things with had a bit of a existential crisis.
Probably best if you don't do that then.
I will look for you in Silver Summit then.
Be safe, my friend.
It's good to see you. Kasanov?
Yes.
Okay.
Otter, I need you to give me a history check before he leaves.
Wee woo. I'm good at those, I think. I am. That's a 12 plus 8, dirty 20.
And then I need you to give me a performance check at advantage.
At advantage. +2. Thank you for that advantage. One was a 1, the other one was a 17, so that's a 19 total.
Fantastic. He stands up and as you stand with him, he extends his hand out to you, and as if no time had passed at all, the two of you do your secret handshake. And you haven't forgotten a single movement of it.
What does our secret handshake look like?
I'm gonna make this really, really simple. Have you watched the Spider-Man films with Tom Holland?
Nope. My brain went right to rocket power. Woogity, 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 woogity.
Please be it.
I have posted a GIF of it in our chat.
I saw the woogity woogity and I thought you had posted it and I was like, oh, okay, so Otter got it right.
No. Mine is the one on top.
Oh, hold on. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Without missing a beat, the two of you do that. And he cracks the first smile that you've seen on his face since you sat down with him. And then he is gone.
I look around to see if anyone noticed us talking, and then head back to my seat.
Sasha 17 gives them notice you sat and talked with a figure in the corner for a bit.
Okay. I just kind of nod to Sasha and head back to my seat.
This, in the bar is starting to fill. It is getting hard to keep track of Jarvan unless you're at the table with him. Matter of fact, he excuses himself from the table with the excuse that he needs to go relieve himself.
Mm-hmm. I do still have Taito outside if he decides to leave the building.
Yep.
Juniper followable?
Maybe.
Because Fred's keeping an eye on Juniper.
Uh-huh. That doesn't change the fact that this bar is getting full.
Mm-hmm.
And it is getting very hard to see Jarvan's table. So you can go ahead and give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Of course. I already suck at perception. I'm too short.
Mm-hmm. Before Jarvan gets back, Juniper also excuses herself from the table. Matter of fact, so do a couple of the other knights. Again, going to relieve themselves.
You know,
5 minutes pass.
I think I have to go to the washroom as well.
The clay man.
Hey, they don't know how I work.
I mean, as the DM, yes, I do, because you're my Warforged
Well, they don't.
engineer.
Walks into a stall, pulls out canteen, dribbles it in the stall for a couple seconds, puts canteen back, and walks out.
I was saving this broth.
Pour one out for the homies.
Okay, you get up to follow him. And you do. It's a fairly large outhouse that's kind of bar. Like it's outside, but it's under like a covered walkway. So that if it's raining, you're not gonna get wet going to the bathroom. I mean, unless you're drunk and walk out the covered walkway. But I mean, you get out there in the man's side, and you don't see Jarvan at the moment, and there are open stalls.
Are they all open?
Some of them are closed. You
Are
definitely
they
hear them being in use.
like? Can I see feet?
Yes.
I gotta take a head count, foot count.
There is definitely not enough feet if Jarvan's supposed to be in this room as well.
But are there the
Damn it.
correct number of feet per stall?
Yeah.
Good. No, that's good thinking.
One peg leg.
Jarvan's hiding on a toilet.
No.
I'm gonna lose this clay, dude.
No. There's 2 feet in a stall, I believe is what Zara was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kind of head for the front and just kind of look. Is he on the street somewhere or what? Where is he? And did he take his armor?
No, his armor is still in the bar.
Did Taito see anyone exit the building?
Matter of fact, Taito didn't even see Jarvan and Juniper exit the building.
I am tempted to kick open some of these stalls and just pretend to be drunk. But I don't think it'll work out.
Are you pooping?
No, probably not.
Boom.
No, just ask if they're having an okay poop and then offer something to help.
Need a hand?
I have popcorn.
Oh God.
Come on, you got this far. What are you doing now, Kitchen?
I'm getting Monric.
I'm suddenly uncomfortable. I'm gonna go fight Batman.
No, shit.
On your way back in, Kitchen, you notice something that you didn't notice on your way out.
What's that?
Hidden back the shadows is a staircase.
Oh. And the armor's here. No one's in the stalls. Let's go upstairs. But I'm gonna try and be not stealthy, but I'm gonna be a little slower, a little quieter.
Okay. I need you to give me a perception check and a stealth check, please.
Okay. $15 and a 6.
You proceed down the stairs, and you hear what sounds like... I'm trying to figure out how to describe this so you don't get slammed with the TOS here.
Macaroni noises.
Is someone making dough? Are they
Hello,
kneading
just
dough down
talking
there?
around.
They're playing canasta.
No, they're playing euchre, Mom. The way your family plays euchre.
Playing 21 pickup.
Oh, banging the table.
Exactly. There is... It is...
Slapjack.
Knocking
Except this is a
boots.
different J.
Okay. It sounds, at first, like somebody is beating the shit out of somebody else. It's the rhythmic slap of flesh against flesh. As if somebody maybe are getting punched or slapped. It sounds like somebody's getting beat up to start. The noises that go with it don't follow that particular mode operandi, as it were.
God, I wish
One
Monric was here.
voice sounds distinctly more female than the other. and you're able to discern a few of the words, but like you're catching every fifth word, and it's not really making an entire sentence.
Okay. Kitchen's only 10 years old, so you know. Should he be in this situation?
Probably not, but you're the one who followed Jarvan.
Well, someone had to.
Go back for help.
Yeah, I don't know. God damn. I'm gonna go to the top of the stairs, look for anyone I know, and be like,
Give me a perception check.
21.
Nice.
You see Karasef and Fred. Everybody else is just kind of swallowed up by the crowd.
Perfect. That's who I need. Come here.
We head over.
Karasef and Fred need to give me perception checks to see if they notice Kitchen in the dark shadows behind the
Please.
bar.
Damn it!
Walking in with an 8.
14.
Fred, yes, you see it, and you are able to snag Karasef on your way by.
And we head over. What's going on, Kitchen?
So I tailed. I was tailing Jarvan and Juniper from the table, and I think they're in the throes of passion.
But she's his squire.
Yeah. Well, we heard the rumors.
Uh-huh.
What do we do? I'm drawing a blank here.
I think if we try to do anything tonight here, we're going to lose with all his knights here.
Could send
But if-
Orion up to take notes on how they're performing this ceremony.
Find him.
I cast message
Uh-huh.
to Orion and ask him if he can come to the back of the building.
On my way.
Grab the others.
I will head to where I remember Sasha kind of setting up and go, Fred seems to need us for something.
Okay.
And head on over to Fred with Sasha.
Also, Zara, that gif is almost perfectly looped, and it is hypnotic to watch.
It's a good gif. I had to
Like,
go
it's
scout.
almost perfect.
I had to go scour my computer for the photo I put in there. I knew I had it somewhere. It was just a matter of where.
Lucky
And
on the draw.
I have this weird mental picture of Orion bursting in the room and going, I hear you need notes taken.
We're writing a book. We'll call it the Kama Sutra.
Oh my god.
I mean, I do
Call
remember.
this The Angry Lover.
I do remember a book an
Roll for
adventurer once
initiative.
told me about. That was called Half Centaur, All Man. And this is absolutely a real book in another campaign.
What?
Oh my god.
This is a campaign that Zara is part of outside of Dire Bear. It was
It's
a book they stumbled across.
it was an ancient book that my character had discovered. And when the TM told me, we were like, all right, so me and one of the other party members found some ancient books. We were like, all right, so what did we find? And that was one of them. I was like, oh, I am absolutely taking that to sell to somebody because it's gonna, it's gonna sell well. It's gonna be sought after by some weird person.
Half
10,000 gold
centaur,
for it.
all man. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
The name lives forever in my brain rent free. I can't get rid of it.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to forget about it now. Anyway, you also collect Monric from the table.
Mhm.
And now you are a group of 6 standing at the top of the stairs.
I motion them to step outside, so we're not obvious.
Okay. It is significantly quieter outside.
Kitchen, perhaps you want to share with them what you found?
Well, I was tailing Jarvan and Juniper, and I lost them for a moment, and I'm pretty sure those rumors about them being together are true.
In the inn. Wonderful.
Yes, down the stairs.
Do we take this opportunity to try and take him out?
Is that wise with all his knights upstairs?
They're
Assuming
upstairs with him?
Jarvan and Juniper are in the basement. In the cellar where they would keep extra crates, like extra barrels of alcohol.
I thought somebody had said that all of the other knights were with them.
we're upstairs.
Well, Jarvan's knights are
Oh.
upstairs in the bar. So if you cause too much of a ruckus,
No, he likes an audience. Well, assuming we can do something about this without making enough noise to alert those upstairs, we could try and seize this opportunity. He certainly won't be expecting us. When I got Monric, I saw their armor still sitting at the table.
This may be our best chance, or we follow them during the day and see if they slip off alone during the day. But honestly, this might be our best shot.
I think so. Sasha, you're awful quiet.
Keeping an eye out, if anything. I'm sure we could manage something, but fighting we'd have to keep quiet unless we want everyone to come down.
But it will not be a quiet fight, I'm sure of that.
Well, actually, I can cast silence and keep things a bit muffled.
That would work.
As a last resort, I could fireball it down there. But that might... No, that would destroy this person's livelihood and endanger everyone that's upstairs.
Yeah, no, we'd have to take them out with more traditional means, I think. But if Kitchen can cast silence, then no one would hear us doing this.
Are we going to take him out in cold blood?
That was the deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're certainly not going to
I
be able to
don't
take him out.
see us having a better
One-on-one.
chance.
Well,
I will say,
follow your breath.
I think I need to be able to vocalize for me to be able to offer any help magically. I don't know if being silenced would hinder that at all. Never really encountered it, but a good
Well, it is
portion of the
pretty-
magic I can do needs spoken words along with it.
And it's pretty loud upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
They may not even realize what's going on.
Well, whatever we're doing, we should probably
it
pick it up.
soon.
Yeah. Do we just wing it?
It works for us
mean,
so
I
far.
That's, yeah.
All the best plans turn into it at some point.
Okay, then. Let's bum rush them.
You have to be quiet going down.
Cody, no!
They're not.
Cody, yes.
Cody, no!
Who's going to start this? I don't want to see things.
I'll take the lead.
Our best fighter should go first. I won't be able to enlarge, though, because I don't think we have the space.
I was about to offer, but probably a better idea for Monric to go. Although, if I do head towards the front, I could try and possibly restrain their movement right from the get-go.
Why don't the
Ooh.
two of you go first? I'm going to stay kind of back here with kitchen.
If you think you can restrain them, that would be a big help.
Sure.
Well, I might be able to assist you in that.
I may be able to assist in a restraint as well.
Actually, I have a spell as well that could work.
I do, if I were to use the magic I'm thinking of, for those of us in melee, you'd have to be careful. It would be a little sticky in the surrounding area. But it could possibly hold them in place for you to have a better chance at attacking.
Okay.
You're welcome, Maddie.
I'm not going to say anything else.
I saw that face immediately.
So do we start non-lethal and then go the other way?
I think we start as lethal as we can get away with. Because they're not going to give any quarter once we start. And we can't afford to either.
Okay, so we're going to have at least two of us casting some sort of, or, performing some sort of hold on, one person each, another person casting silence, and somebody else going down and actually committing the act.
I mean,
Am I
all
still
of us are
casting?
heading down there.
Am I still trying
For
to
something
silence?
you guys said you were gonna wing, this is getting really planned out.
Yeah, why don't we just go?
Okay.
Keep that
Sure.
silence spell ready.
I mean, please continue. I'm just. You all said you were gonna wing it, and the next thing I know, you guys are really planning this shit out. And I was like, "So, are we
We
winging
were
it? Are
winging
we
the
planning it?
plan.
What's going on?"
Well, if Monric wants to swing open the door, I will cast my spell into the room if I see them, and we can go from there.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll
You
go to them.
proceed
I'll lead the way down.
downstairs and hear nothing.
You know, stay thirsty, my friends. Everyone have a beverage.
But yes, you head downstairs and hear nothing. Not because somebody has casted silence, but because there doesn't seem to be anybody downstairs anymore.
And so we don't see anybody, or we're going off of just we're not hearing anybody just now.
You're not hearing anybody.
Okay.
And they weren't being particularly quiet when you heard them.
We check into the main room,
Push
see if we
open the
see
door.
him. Before we head
you-
down, look into the bar to see if he's there. They're there.
They are not.
Okay.
Otter.
The armor's still there.
No, it's not. Not anymore.
Yes, hello,
During that
that's
time
me.
where you guys were outside, they finished and left.
Did Taito see anything?
Yes. Title saw them leave. Which is what I was about to say before we asked about the armor.
Cool. I would have asked Taito to follow them if that was the case, if they saw
Sure.
them leave.
Taito follows Jarvan and Juniper and a couple of the knights that have decided to leave with them and not stay at the bar and drink. And they just head back to the barracks.
We should probably
We
then
can't take
maybe.
them on in the barracks.
Maybe we should head back
keep
to the
an
end.
eye, Taito. I'll look back over to everyone after kind of zoning out for a second. It would seem they're on their way to the barracks.
Well, we know that they go off alone like that. We may have another opportunity.
Taito is keeping an eye to see if they wander off any further this evening.
Okay. Opportunity has been missed.
I would like
all
to
is
do
not
one
lost.
thing though.
Yeah, what's up?
Could I go back into the bar and just ask the bartender, like, does Jarvan frequent here?
The bartender kind of gives you a strange look.
I only asked because I really enjoyed hanging out with him and his compatriots. So just curious. They
He
just stumbled off. I missed them.
he typically spends time here after a important victory. I won't see him
Ah.
again for another week at most.
Okay. Well, thank you. I guess I'll just have to catch him another time.
Best of luck.
And to you. And then I'll just go off with everyone else.
Where are you guys headed now? It is getting on in the day. Like, this is typical guard change time.
We should probably go let Cedric know that his order will soon be coming. And then we should head back to the inn and figure where we're gonna find Jarvin.
Jarvan.
Thank you.
I was gonna say,
Gerald.
you guys haven't met that particular NPC yet.
Jacob.
It's a
George?
J sound.
John Jacob
It was
Jingleheimer
Jennifer.
Schmitz.
Get out of my head. I was just thinking
Yeah.
that.
What? His name was your name too.
Oh my god.
Oh, love a duck.
Well, I will ask that Taito keeps an eye and to let me know if anything changes and follow the group.
Okay, you are given a confirmation from Taito. All right, party. You settle in at Jamie's for the night. And he welcomes you back and inquires what you guys have been up to. You've been gone for quite a few days. He has kept your room since you haven't told him otherwise.
I mean, I've been here, so
We had a quest to help the Lumberyard.
Ah, Freddie.
They had some nasty kittens that were delaying their work.
Well, now that's just unfortunate. Is he all right?
Yes, we were able to solve the problem.
But I'm glad to hear it. That's he's of a good sort, and it would have been a real tragedy if we were to lose him here in town.
Yeah, they did lose some members of the crew, but they should be fine now.
Well, that's great to hear. Now, tonight's dinner, we've got a delicious roast with, using a recipe from your cookbook itself, Kitchen.
oh,
Chef was so inclined and inspired by the things that you've been making for the last little bit that, he felt that it was necessary to try one of your recipes.
well, I was just here, and I was wondering if, when everything is said and done, and I'm finished my travels, if you'd like to go into business.
Well, it sounds like I don't have to look for another cook. Our chef is going to be retiring in the next couple years.
Well, I believe a few years is all I need to see the rest of the world that I would like to see.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. You will be guaranteed employment here with me,
Excellent. Thank you very
should you
much.
so desire.
Absolutely. I really do like it here.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. And the rest of y'all, it's a roast dinner with uh potatoes and carrots, and we actually got in some fresh corn recently from one of the farms. That'll go pretty quick, so if you're looking to get some of that, I'd put that order in early.
Done. I'll take one.
It is roast pork, so like it's boar is what it is. So it's
Mhm.
still a pig, but it's not roast beef. It is roast pork. It's roast boar.
And what do you
Which,
call
by
this
the
dish,
way,
Kitchen?
Roasted apples.
One moment.
no worries. Also, just for the record, I have actually had boar. It is fucking delicious.
It's a little bit more gamey than pork, but it's a good time.
Yeah,
Depends how it's
it's
cooked.
leaner than pork. It's leaner than
Mhm.
pork. Inherently leaner than pork.
If you ever
Around
have a chance to try kangaroo, those assholes are
that's another one.
delicious.
Is the rest of the animal good too, or
Yeah,
it's the assholes?
the whole animal. The animal is an asshole, but their meat is delicious.
Actually, I don't know if they're still in business. Cody, Truffles Burger Bar used to sell kangaroo burgers.
Oh
Oh, they're
yeah,
still
yeah, I
open.
remember
My
that.
mom
Yeah, they're
went
still
tonight
open.
for her retirement dinner.
Yeah? Okay.
Um,
I didn't like working there, but their food was freaking good.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Ryan,
well,
I'm
they were
really
trying to be a
sorry.
high price. So.
I don't have a fancy name for this one. It's just roast boar. It's a pretty simple meal, but it's good.
Sure. There seems to be some like scribbling on your warhammer. Did
Yeah.
you get something on it?
Oh, unfortunately. In order to gain favor with Jarvan, I asked him to sign my hammer.
Ah,
It worked, kind of.
Like, it should be good enough to forge it on some orders, maybe, to send the knights off.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
know, that's a wonderful idea.
I could certainly try to copy it down and see how close I could get to it.
You sneaky little bitch!
I was literally about to ask the same thing, so same brain cell, Mama Bear.
Well, you say that, but this is actually something Karthus did in a previous iteration of this game. Is he took his entire faction out for maneuvers.
Lovely. I will take out my notebook and attempt to copy the signature to the best of my ability.
You can go ahead and give me a performance check at disadvantage at this time.
At
However,
disadvantage.
if you continue to practice, you may get proficiency in forging his signature alone.
That's not bad with disadvantage. That's a 15.
Hey.
The low die was a 13
you're
plus 2.
There's a couple bits of it that are really specific to how he writes that you don't quite have down yet. But you think with a little bit more practice, you can probably get it.
I mean, if I take the evening and work on it, I'm sure I could get pretty close.
Yeah.
What if he were to admit to his relations with his squire? on notices all through town.
That could possibly get rid of the problem without getting rid of the problem. They might just get sent somewhere else.
I think they already are aware of the situation and let it continue.
Yeah, there's no one here to report that they report to except each other.
Well, I mean, it's just socially, it's looked down upon, right? A smear campaign?
But they've been so good for keeping the peace. They may not care.
Everybody already sees this in the corner of their eye. Nobody's really willing to look at it.
Or we could put up the campaign notices like that and bring it to Jarvan's attention. Maybe get him off alone. Say that we figured out who's done it and we'd like to, show it to him.
Or at least if we could use their signature to get him away from his troops.
Hmm. Anyways, there's lots of different ideas, I think.
Yep. Either way, I'll need more time to make sure that it's a believable signature, because this is not currently believable.
Well, take my hammer, and you have all the time you need.
Nope, not making a joke there. Sure.
No, just grasp it firmly. Why are you laughing?
I will
Can't wait.
accept Kitchen's hammer and kind of just start doing the signature over and over again, trying to work on it to get accustomed to
Give
writing
me
in the way that
another performance check at advantage, please, sir.
they do. At advantage this time. Let's use the metal one. That's better. With advantage, that's a 15 and a 19, so total of 21.
You have perfected it. You think the only person who might be able to tell that this is a forgery might be Sir Carthus and Sir Jarvan.
Lovely.
Should we alert Carthus so he could kind of back it up?
Well, what are we going to do with the signature? I mean, if we give orders in his name, they'll know they're not real orders when they check with him.
Yes, but if he's off busy with Juniper, they won't be able to check with him.
That's the time we need to be finding him.
I'm making a roll to see if Orion would even
Or as
real quick.
if we take it to Sir Carthus and have him issue it.
Well, they both use the same barracks.
Mm-hmm.
Could we not have one of Carthus's men, or Carthus himself, put up this fake notice for Jarvan's troops while they are on watch? Then it will already be there when they go to start their day. I know Sir Carthus wanted to mostly be left out of this, but it might be a way to get the notice into the barracks in an inconspicuous manner.
But Sir Jarvan is going to be at the barracks and be able to discount anything we put up.
Let's think on it. We've got a little time.
Yep, we can take the evening and see where we are.
You have been in Arcala now 7 days.
So the army is now 1 week behind us?
Yes.
Okay. Well, absolute worst case, we could always use their signature to release a statement as to their disappearance for after we take care of Jarvan, if it's not a ordeal seen by others.
That's a good idea.
Very good.
Cover our end of it at least.
and get us out of here safely once they're found. If they're found.
Well, for now, I think some sleep would be good.
Mhm.
Are there still anyone drinking in the bar at this hour?
You guys went back to Jamie's, so yeah, not quite a few, like not a. They seem to be just regulars, but yeah, there are people drinking at the bar.
I'm going to look at one of them, just kind of think to myself, they could probably use a nap, and their next con save on their alcohol is going to be a natural 1.
Okay.
That's all.
And they're asleep, passed out on the table.
See, I think it's time to get some rest.
I'm going to just go spend some time in the kitchen and mull things over. Go chop something.
Okay.
The kitchen's just going to run back there and start
Did
messing
we
with
have
stuff.
one room here, or was it multiple?
You have one. You have
Okay.
one room with multiple bunk beds.
I'm going to head up to the room and just, plop myself down in front of the window and just, take my rest, but just staring out the window.
Yep.
Reminiscing on Friends Found.
We'll head
Party.
to the room.
Okay.
Yeah, Monarch's just going to go to sleep. He's had plenty to drink and plenty to eat.
Okay. You settle in for the night. And as day 8 in Arcala dawns, you start to enact your plan. And mostly because I need to figure out how Karthus is going to react to what you guys are going to ask him to do. We're in a call session here. I actually haven't had a party suggest doing this, so I need to figure out if Karthus is going to be okay with this or not. And
If
then
Fred
discuss
didn't bring it up, I
exactly what you're
absolutely
asking.
was about to.
Yeah. And I just need to discuss with you guys outside of game exactly what it is you're going to ask him to do. And then we will reconvene next week.
Sure.
Yes.
Sounds
So just a reminder to anybody who's watching as well as my players. April 14th, there will be no game. And May 12th, there will be no game. April 14th is the Thursday before the Easter, and I will be en route to Mom and Dad's to spend Easter with my family.
Sure.
And May
An 8-hour
12th,
drive.
May 12th is the Thursday before my move day. I move on the 14th of May, and my brother will be here dismantling my bed. As you can see the frame hovering above me.
Yep. So the 14th of April and the 12th of May.
Yeah. Those
Okay.
will be
Week
for
of each
sure
month.
no games. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. Tonight was a lot of hilarity, lore, and area building, and I hope it was as fascinating for you as it was for me to describe it. And we will be back next week. Otter, is there another round of the horror game that you're in with Precarious?
We are nearing the end. There should be a couple episodes left.
Okay, we are nearing the end with the Stolen Cities. Monday, we'll be back with another episode of The Troubleshooters. Tuesday, another episode of Remnant Shadow. I totally missed Sunday, which we have another episode of Varenheim. And Wednesday, I believe, is
Varenheim
currently on a...
starts back up on the 10th of April. So we got one more
Ah.
week before that pops back up.
Okay. We will see Varenheim return on the 10th of April.
Mhm.
And I believe we've got a month break for False Colonies.
That is correct. We have some changes coming up, but they'll be back in about a month.
We'll see new players and new faces, both to Dire
Mhm.
Bear and False Goblin Knights, when they return. Thursdays, well, we're still going to see these lovely bunch of faces like we do every week. And we will figure out what the party is going to do about Sir Jarvan the Hammer, who they now know for sure is fucking his squire. We are still a pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, so please remember, social distance if you can, wear a mask, wash your hands, take care of yourself, be kind to one another, and remember, roar for initiative. Have a good night, everybody.